Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. I had a great Sunday. Saturday was alright, Friday was okay as well. Yeah, the reason why Sunday was so good, I was at the fifth A. I went to the fifth A, see an absolute amazing game of cricket, last final day. Obviously key points being Stokes going through to his 100, getting back into form, playing an absolute gem of an innings. I'm so happy for him because obviously, you know, we knew he hadn't really made big runs for England in the. I know, like he had made scores, but just it'd been sort of in and out of nick, and it was obviously really important, obviously because. Without his runs, obviously, we wouldn't have set them such a challenging total on the final day. I think we all knew heading into the final day that the main kind of outcome that we were probably expecting was the outcome that we actually got in the end. But how we got the outcome was absolutely incredible. I thought that was it was probably, and if not the best draw that I've ever witnessed in cricket. The atmosphere just electric from ball one to the last ball, right up until the last over. I mean, there again a few more key points like the Joe Denley catch where he plucked it out of the air. Jack Leach just absolutely killing it. You know, I think everything that went right did go right, but I think the fact that play didn't start until I think about 12, like just gone midday. I mean, they obviously lost the first hour and a bit, and it was that could have cost England perhaps the game. I mean, fair play to the Aussies for hanging in there. The Aussies, you know, they did what we expected them to do. I mean, we ran them close big time, and I think out of the Test match as a whole, we've got a lot more. We could take a lot more positives from that than they could. I think that the fact that, you know, I'd be worried going into the next Test match if I was an Australian fan. I'd look at that and think we were set a modest total of 267, I think, or 268, something like that, and 268, and we were made to work for it, of course, because England, as you know, as we always do, we never give up until the last, you know, until I think we took the game away from Australia. That partnership between Stokes and Buttler, and then also Bairstow and Stokes, was really important because they, like I think he mentioned in his press conference, or whatever you want to call it, the interview after he got man of the match, was rightfully so. I think, you know, there was no one else that even come close to perform under that pressure and in the situation given the circumstances. I think it was, you know, he mentioned that when they took the game away from Australia, they knew they could, you know, obviously play a few more shots, and obviously we see the shots come out, the sixes started being hit. And, you know, Bairstow started using his feet. I thought it was really important for him to get a few valuable runs in this Test match. We all know it was going to be, as I mentioned, we all knew it was going to end in the draw, and the fact it came to no surprise. But I think there was just a few things that could have gone better. But as a whole, to provide that amount of entertainment in and on the last final day of the Test match, albeit it obviously we lost 2.5 days or whatever, 2 full days, and you know it was we lost, I think, in total about 160, 170 overs or something like that, which that was obviously, that's going to take a toll on the Test match. You know, if you lose that time, you're going to be constantly playing catch up, and to be fair, when the overs start getting into, like, you know, the hundreds and, you know, whatever, you're never going to make them overs up. And obviously, I think the umpiring also didn't really help, because obviously they were a little bit touchy on certain things, but yeah, aside from it all, it was a really impressive Test match and a really impressive final day. I mean, Lords as a spectacle, like as a ground, absolutely incredible. You know, it gives me the same feeling every time I go there. It's just incredible. And you know, shout out if you're watching this, Gav. Cheers for the tickets. You know, because it obviously wouldn't have happened without you. And that was, yeah, one of the greatest days I've ever had in sport. 100%, because even though, you know, even though we didn't lose, even though we didn't win, sorry, but we didn't lose. We didn't we didn't win, but we didn't lose, and we're still in with a massive shout coming up this Thursday. There will be a video on that coming out Tuesday, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. But I think main points was of like the bowling wise was obviously massive praises going towards Joff Archer. I thought, you know, like Root said after the game had finished, he said, you know, Archer's changed the kind of Ashes Test match dynamic between the two sides. He's given us a dynamic edge with him bowling absolute thunderbolts. I know maybe they'll bring Stark back into the next Test match, and that'll provide a different kind of not a different well, I suppose a different element, but a different dynamic for our batsman to face. And well, I mean, you know, we all know how good a bowler he is, but I think just yesterday was just incredible. From as I say, like from the first minute right up until the last, crowd were incredible, and I think we've just got to keep positive, keep that same team. I think because there's no real need for changes, unless they feel certain, you know, perhaps certain players pull up a little bit sort of jaded or, you know, whatever, a bit fatigued or whatever. But I don't think that would be the case at all. I would go with the same team. I think the same team going forward, if you can, is always a plus to keep that consistency throughout the unit, you know. And there's been really no cause for concern, because Jack Leach came in, bowled a more or less a superb game. If you know, it was just annoying because he wasn't on the winning side. I mean, we made that. I think personally, I know it's obviously only my opinion. You can shoot it down in flames, or you know, whatever or some of you might agree. But I think we made that Australian side look really bang average. Yes, and I do mean bang average, because I actually don't think they're that great a side. I'm not going to say they're a one-man team like most people have, but they're not that great a side. And the media will always gloss up players that they want to obviously have such a, like, have their limelight, and obviously, you know, have their shot at sort of, you know, in the, you know, their 15 minutes of 15 minutes of fame, or you know, or whatever it may be. But then I think the media do need to realise they will obviously, because they, like I say, the media obviously they're only doing their job, and they need, obviously they've got to keep it balanced. But bearing in mind, obviously, most of the media and most of the pundits that are on Sky are English, so it's obviously it'd be easy for them to kind of keep bigging up England and, you know, whatever. But I think I would be worried if I was an Aussie. You know, obviously I'm not, but I mean, you know, I would be worried quite a lot if I was an Australian fan, because obviously I know that the Test match didn't really go to plan for either side, because obviously Australia would wanted to have gone 2-0 up in the series and arguably won the series at Lords. But even though obviously there is still 3 Test matches to play, but to win 3 Test matches in a row in a Ashes series, relatively unheard of. Don't think it's ever been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong, but yeah, if it has done before, just correct me down in the comments below. But I think just moving forward, with more or less, because you know, the hostility between the bowling attack and, you know, and the disrespect that the England batsmen showed the Australian bowlers was absolutely, finally, that's what we've been waiting for as Englishmen. That's what we've been waiting to see in this Test match. Been waiting for finally the England batsmen to go off the line I know that perhaps you would say, and you could say quite valid, that the situation that they found themselves in was probably made easier to go after Lyon because they knew they had to score quick runs, and they lost, as I said, like, lost an hour at the start of play. So it's kind of, do you stick or twist, and they chose to twist, and it worked for them given the circumstances. I think they played in it outstanding. Not, the batsman that did well played absolutely outstanding. The guy who came in for, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, so forgive me for that. I think it's Lamoshan or something like that. That he came in for obviously Steve Smith because Steve Smith suffered from a delayed concussion, which obviously wish him all the best. I don't hope he's in the next test. And that's its own thing because we know just how good a batsman he is, and it makes our job a hell of a lot easier. Even though we had slice of good fortune getting his replacement out, but that's Test match cricket really, and that's it in a nutshell. To be fair, sometimes you ride your luck. Sometimes you're waiting for that little break in a Test match that could turn it into your advantage and could turn the game on its head, or but and if it does, it does. If it doesn't, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I suppose it doesn't. It's kind of, and I think just the main thing. I think both teams knew it was going to end in a draw. I think it just proved that there wasn't enough time. England declared at the right time. They left 48 overs, 50 overs to get Australia out. Came so close, but yet so far. I know I didn't do a review of day 1, 2, 3 and 4. I thought I'd just summarise it in this video and kind of just summarise the main final day, because that was the only real long period of cricket that we actually got. The first, I know there was bits and pieces before, but throughout this Test match it's been weather affected and turned out to be one of the best Test matches I think in an Ashes series that ended in a draw. But we pushed them all the way, and I couldn't have been prouder of the boys coming home. We were obviously talking about it, me and Dad, and and the boys, and couldn't have been prouder. The way they went about it, stuck to it right up until the last, and it was a pleasure to watch. And again, thank you, Gav. If you are watching this, wouldn't have happened without you. So, cheers, fella. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know. As I said, I'm going to do a video, the preview of the Headingley Test match that'll be coming out Tuesday. So look for that. Turn your post notifications on, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you are enjoying this type of content, the England Test match sort of series content, and you want to see more, leave a like on the video, let me know, and because that's how I know that you want to see more. And leave your thoughts down below, who you thought was player of the match, who you thought shone perhaps maybe out of the blue, and let me know your thoughts going forward into the series, who you think is going to end up victorious in the series and who you think might be a breakout. I mean, obviously we've seen Archer being the breakout star of sort of the Lord's Test match, but basically that's it. I think the video's going to be ending here. I'm going to cut it off now. I will speak to you guys in the next video. Deuces. Peace.